Ed, I got you on first with the construction update, because that's what on everybody's mind.
I'm probably all of the rest of this.
Pretty
So
much.
surely I do the finances because it all kind of rolls into one. That's probably the best place to start, actually, if you guys don't mind. We'll go through the finances and I'll talk about kind of where we're at, what we're doing.
If you want to look on over here,
I have another one.
or Ed's got one for you here, I guess. Thank you.
So yeah, pulling what little hair I have out. But going through the finances, as Doug had said before, it was extremely complicated. I ended up trying to simplify it as much as I can, so I just went to the number that the trustees of trust funds said we had at the end of 2023.
Which was which number?
The 237.3, the far right bottom, well, not far right bottom, but in the upper.
That's what we have.
It says
Oh,
that's
that
how
was
much
the
we have in
balance.
cash.
Okay.
We have had expenditures this year, so I backed out the expenses. That's the smaller box below that. The general column equals expenses of $32,661.90, and then the grant column in the expense line with the $71,000 expense was the front portion of the parking lot project. We've already paid him a portion to get started.
What column are we looking at?
Expenses, right?
Yeah, kind
That's
of
the
bouncing around a
71,000.
little.
Third column there.
That's the parking lot?
That's part of the parking lot.
So that's a deposit.
The parking lot came in at 175 something for the total parking lot project.
Yeah, I have that written down somewhere. Yes, that. Okay.
So if I take that grant column and expenses added up, it's 80,064.82. Pull that out of the two projects, 175,204 for the parking lot and 90. I put 92,505. That did come in at 99,000, but I've been working with Cody Small. They've taken $4,000 out of the plant line so far. And there's some gravel that we are gonna be able to use from DPW in his project. So estimating we're gonna be right around the $92,000 mark on that one. That leaves us left to pay $190,306.50. You know, pulling with the fund, let me just bounce to the bottom, minus the grant revenue, shows that we have a overage of $65,166.61. The lines below that today, I did talk to Pathways Engineering and Kurtzalt Excavation, and I believe we're gonna be able to donate some material from here, from DPW to use as the sub base underneath the parking lot.
Oh, Glenn drove in the yard 10 minutes ago. Big surprise. Perfect timing though.
So anyway, we can donate that material. We were going back and forth whether it was gonna be good enough material to donate after we had it tested, talked with the engineers and that gave us a we can do, and we can donate that material. So we should be able to take another $16,000 off, which leaves us with an overage of 49,000. What is that? 166.61. I do think I might be able to maximize some of that 16,000. If you know how grants work, if we use that towards our match, it's actually lowering the cost of the project. Plus it's not money coming out of our bank account. So it might be worth more than 16, but I'm trying to be a little conservative there.
Can you explain that one more time?
If it's an in-kind donation, so if we just donate it and say, here you go,
Yeah,
no cost to the project,
yeah,
Kurtzalt's bill will be about $16,000 less.
okay.
But that also counts, I've already talked to Bill Gigas, and that counts as part of our $125,000 match.
Oh,
So it equals more than 16. I can't give you what number that is. There's a lot of that going on. The other thing that number does have in it is $6,121 of in-kind volunteer time, my time, those types of things. We had some more today. Myself, Patty, a bunch of people are working on it, so that number's actually come up to $7,800 about right now. So as we continue through this project, we're gonna continue trying to maximize
Okay,
in-kind donations as much as possible.
okay.
I do have a list. I have a few of your days, Penny, I did not put in there because they just said they were going to water plants and weed gardens, which I don't think they're gonna let us use, but some of your other days was removing black locust trees and invasive species, and I put those in, and he's already approved those, so. So any invasive species removal, I put down today's moving of the gardens, those types of things that I think we can count all that. Rick's time, Nicolette's time.
Oh, good, okay.
I told
Which was
DPW,
greatly
say,
appreciated.
don't put this, but I told DPW to use the biggest dump truck they can tomorrow to move asphalt, because the bigger the dump truck, the more money we get
Oh,
for
that's
it.
interesting.
I'm like, let's just maximize this the most. we
Yeah.
can.
Ed, I'm still having trouble just because I'm not familiar with, what I'm reading. So for installing the parking lot and the pathways things, what is that portion of the overall, because it looks like there was an overall,
Technically, right now, that portion is 175,000,
On the side, then. Here.
204.15.
oh, I see, okay. So parking lot and then landscaping is 92, okay,
The
got it.
one thing I did do different there, because I wasn't sure when I wrote this part if we could use the gravel or not. So that's the full bid
Mhm.
from Kurt Salt's Excavating, and the 92,505, I've already minused out some of the plant
1,000.
changes and stuff we did from Cody Small. So his bid was actually 99,000 something for the landscaping trail side. And we've already pulled that down some,
Mhm.
and I've talked to both of those people today, and they're continuing to look for ways to save money.
So, but I think when I talked to you the other day, you said, that, as far as you knew, the parking lot trees and things had already been ordered.
The landscaping trees have been ordered. The only
For the
three
parking
that
lot.
have not right now are the 3 lurches or tamarack trees. But we found where they're coming from.
Can we leave them out? We don't need them.
They're in the process of getting ordered. I guess I could call her and say.
I cancel, because we don't need them. They're, at least Patty and I, looking at the thing, thought that Mike had made, an overly generous number of plants for the park. And so I don't think we need so many trees. So if 3 less trees,
That would take a lot off.
well, it'll
Yeah.
help.
It wouldn't take a lot.
It won't.
But I mean,
About $600-700 off.
Yeah.
Plus
Every
some
little bit
labor.
helps.
But it's
Yeah.
also the cost of labor. There's always a labor element, because they were gonna put in big ones, and so,
Oh, yeah, these ones are 6-footers.
yeah. But
So
some of the ones in the parking lot, though, at least what they listed were 3-inch trees. Those things are mammoth, and
Yeah, we've downsized a lot of those, and I don't know how much they downsized them, but that's where we found the $4,000 worth of savings by downsizing a bunch of the tree
Good, 'cause
sizes.
they'll actually be more likely to survive the process. Smaller, the bigger ones have a hard time, especially since we want more taproot based trees, and of course, the taproots, when you put them in a ball, they don't like that, so.
Well, I can ask her if we can just scrap those 3 if you guys wanna do that.
And then we could always put them in at another date. It could be actually a really nice opportunity if somebody wanted to do a memorial. It's 3, it's right, though, it's kind of in the middle of the path up towards the end where the vernal
Yeah.
pool is. There are just the 3 larches. But to maybe hold those spots for them down the road. But yeah, definitely, I don't think that the design would be impacted by not having them. And
Yeah, I'm sure part of the reason they were probably there was the way that they turn bright.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, there would have been a nice diversity.
yeah, yeah. They're very beautiful and they lose their needles, which is unusual
Yeah,
for evergreens. And so in the winter time, I think they would have probably been really striking, but I think we can put those on a wish list and, you know, at some
Okay.
point maybe add
Let
them.
me make sure they're not ordered. I talked to her today. As of this morning, they were not, but she was working on setting up delivery times with this company that was gonna deliver them, so.
Was the delivery extra or included? 'Cause
No,
you
it's
can-
included.
Oh, too bad. That would take off some too,
Well,
but,
yeah, they're about
but they must have been quite
They're about-
expensive,
$300 a piece,
yeah.
so $600 to $900.
But we still had to pay to have them put in too.
Yeah. I mean, there'll be a little bit of savings there, so. So I can ask about that. We're looking at other places. We're looking at some labor stuff. I already talked to her today, but we'll show her when we meet out there that, you know, we don't need to pour the gravel for the garden shed area. We can cut off a little bit of that spur for the trail. Again, it's probably hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars, but it's a little bit here and
Adds
there.
up though.
Yeah.
And then I have, both of them have told me they're gonna just continue to look for ways to save. And, you know, Kurt's also told me today that, you know, they bid out what they think it's gonna use in gravel. If it's too much, they won't charge us for the rest of it, and we'll try to find ways to do that, but I do think we need to, and I will help with this, but I think we need to push one more fundraising campaign, at least to the bigger donors, but
But we've lost our people who do that.
no, it's easy.
Mm.
I'm glad you think so.
There is nobody sitting here at this end that is interested in fundraising.
I
Yeah.
do a postcard
I
with a
mean,
beautiful picture of the park on it.
I can work with you.
Money.
I've already got all
Ours
this one drafted in my head, a letter pretty much from the park committee and myself as the town manager to explain where we're at, what's
Mm.
going on, and, you know, someone like the Burn Foundation, we can
Yeah.
talk about, you know,
Yes.
we've raised this much money and we.
We're that
need
close.
this much.
We've already hit them how many times? Three?
Yeah, but they'll
She's
still,
very generous.
I
I
know.
bet
she
she'd
is.
get
Yeah.
another 20, 25
Yeah.
easily,
Mm.
which is half of what we need.
Yeah.
There's a few of those bigger organizations I think we could go to. There's a few more local companies that I think would be willing to give a little bit if they haven't already, and even if they have, they might give more.
Mm.
Every time the calendar
you-
changes, they're ready to give more money because it's a
And
tax write-off.
You
So,
know who doesn't get the local mailings is the people on the lakes that don't have an Enfield address.
Mm.
The last time that we did a fundraising, I sent a lot of extra letters to people I knew, never got any ask, and did pretty well.
Yeah. And I thought of that, a few of those, and then there's a few personal ones that I know that
Yeah.
a knock on their door or something to explain what's going might help. And I'm also gonna, they don't know it yet, but I'm also gonna hit these two companies to say, if you could knock some price off, I'll give you a donation letter and a tax write-off, and so see what we can do to pull down. But I think one more good push to the Burn Foundation, maybe Eastman Charitable, a few of those other ones.
Mm.
I think we can chunk a big part of that away really quickly.
Yeah.
The one thing
Oh,
that this
Eastman
doesn't have in it though, is the donation plaque for
Yeah.
the board.
Yeah.
We probably need to figure out how to get some money for that.
Eastman Charitable meets the second Thursday of every month, and they go month to month. It's
So, and you know this more than me, but I thought of them as the same way, going, you know, we're this close.
Yeah.
That's, you know, help us get past the finish line.
We haven't had a lot of asks lately either, so.
I'm really excited about seeing the park get finished, but I'm also feeling pretty frustrated because I'm sorry, but we're supposed to be an advisory board, and I feel like we didn't have the opportunity to look at all these plans, and we would have, I know personally, I would have been very anxious about saying yes to bids that we don't have money for.
Yeah.
And I would have worked really hard to scale it down, but feel like I never got the opportunity. I'm just very frustrated with that.
Yeah, we
Maybe
can-
I'm alone on it, but
Well,
I
we
can
are,
feel
but I think
frustrated.
it moved. I mean, the plans got approved last April by this committee. And then we spent a lot of money to have them drafted, and then it was hurry, hurry, hurry.
But we were,
Yeah,
we were said that, they were approved, but, pending further discussion on plantings and things like that. And, you know, the plants that got put in, we never saw. And so it's, it would have been timely to come before the board with, the final proposal that was given to the groups to make the bid. And then before they were finalized, and so that we could modify them even then. And we really didn't have a chance to do that. Would have been nice. It would have been more what we were wanting this to look like when it's done, because it's supposed to be a nature area and you know, things like the daylilies, the astilbe, they're not native plants.
I think
And we
those
would
got
have fixed
removed.
that.
They
I hope
did.
so.
We
I
did.
hope so.
Yeah.
We were able,
Yeah.
I did talk with Ed about the native plant piece, so those daylilies were actually, we had talked about that a while ago. And we did native replacement plants for like the astilbe, the sedum autumn joy, so those are in.
Mhm. But the red twig dogwood or those.
Right,
That,
right, because the park also does have a lot of things growing in it too that, you know, would have been nice to be able to maybe use those or keep those in the spot. But, yeah.
and I'm more talking about process. I just think it would have been, if, as an advisory committee, I would have really enjoyed having more input in that part. And I think we could have then, had more, plants that would be of interest to people coming to the park and looking at it, seeing it as a nature park and seeing interesting native plants that they might not otherwise see. Right now, we're gonna have a lot of black-eyed Susans, which are native, but they're very, you know, everybody's seen them all, you know, they're everywhere.
The main goal when they started this was to have it be an example to everyone at Lake, everyone who visited of lake-friendly stewardship.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we have,
And that's sort of what I'm saying, that, you know, that really, you know, the best choices, you know, summer sweet, button bush, spice bush, there's a lot of things we could have had on there.
Yeah.
And they don't cost any different, so.
We could have looked at that. We were also under. I mean, if we didn't approve those soon, this wasn't gonna happen by the grant.
It was a brief window, but there was a
Well,
window.
We're still up against the window. I mean, they should have it done by July, but then we have a month's worth of paperwork to do. We're about a month off of what the deadline's gonna be. Even Bill just said that the other day. He's like, well, I still think we have time to close this out in time. And
Do you think there's any, buffer at the federal level? Probably not, but
not really, no.
no, they want to see it done. Cause this, you know, the deficit of even like under $50,000 is a lot of money to me.
Mm.
It is, it's.
We don't really-
But I'm gonna,
You know, Doug was our
Yeah.
wonderful fundraiser and he is not part of this committee
well,
anymore.
that's why I said, I'll help you with that part. And
No, I mean, because we promised the town that this was not gonna come out of their pockets. And you know, if for some reason that happens, we all look like crap. It will fall on all of our shoulders.
Yeah.
And
so.
I
I'll take a
really,
lot of it.
really don't want to see that happen. I mean, a
If it-
promise is a promise.
If it needs to, I'll take that, cause I made the decision to sign those.
But it's hard because these are our neighbors and,
So, you know, we're on the
and
committee.
so, yeah, it's just, yeah, it's also same for me, a big concern. I'm super uncomfortable with it, actually. but we're here, right?
Yeah.
We're here now,
We're stuck.
so,
I mean, there wasn't a lot to change. That part of, we could have changed some plants back and forth maybe, but the parking lot was approved by the state through a shoreline permit
Mhm.
and
But do
maybe
we
could
have to
cut
have the
it back
parking
a
paved?
little bit.
Do we
but
have to have the parking lot?
Yeah,
paved?
that's the handicap accessibility part that we got the grant for. So at least a pretty good portion of it needed to be, yes.
or maybe not going,
So it doesn't all have to be?
Maybe not, but I think then, I'll give you my opinion, I think it'll look horrible if you pave part of it and not the other part of it.
yeah.
I like it is myself.
I thought we weren't gonna have it paved. I was surprised to see
Yeah.
it paved.
Again,
Me,
I
I
didn't see the plan.
I didn't know it was gonna
You
be
guys
paved.
approved the plans with it
Mhm.
last year,
I don't think I knew that it was being paved.
yeah.
I think I knew the shape of it. I mean, we talked about the number of spots. I remember that. I don't remember us talking about it being paved.
Yeah. And I think I know
Or a
that
sidewalk.
for the parking part, it was always a little vague because we were kind of going off of Paul Mursky's plan for parking, but then I think when it was, so I think what the hard part is that it was it was engineered and they did their work, but then there was this space of time from when the new plan was put into place that's what I think the frustration is, that if we could have seen the actual report to understand.
I guess that's my frustration is the plan that Mike Burns brought forward last year and was approved by the committee is exactly what was put forward. It hasn't changed at all. The Pathways didn't change it. They took Mike Burns' plans and put it in an engineered plan.
Right, but they also added a whole bunch of trees that we have, I mean, for the right reason, they want us to put in these trees, right? But that adds more, so it's just.
They didn't add them.
The one,
Mike Burns did this for them off his plan.
so those trees though, I guess what I'm saying is like, for example, the pin oaks that are now, when you pull into the park on the right along, so the water's on our right, there'll be pin oaks down through there. Those were a surprise. Like Mike may have worked with them, but we didn't necessarily know exactly what was happening with this piece between the engineering and redoing or adding what we had to do. So that's where the big surprise is, I think. I mean, even for me, just trying to figure out, because from the trail end, there are some pin oaks down there now. So it's just the changes have been made and we're trying to backpedal, but we can't, right? Because, so, yeah. I think it's the parking part anyway for me, but I was on the landscape subcommittee, so I did pay attention to Mike's part of the landscape part, but I never really saw the parking lot plans other than the Mursky ones, but this is different now. So,
Well,
yeah,
that's what he presented. It was
Yeah.
the Mersky plan that he presented in, and then it had to be just
But
finally tweaked.
I have it here and I don't see where it says paved. I mean, maybe again, we see these things on such small print,
yeah.
but I don't think we talked about it being paved. I just don't remember that. And I think I would have noticed because we had,
It has to be. It's paved and striped and.
Right,
Yeah.
you can't do line striping on dirt. It was
okay,
definitely discussed that it was gonna be a paved parking lot.
okay.
And then part of the grant was just that it would be, and that there would be handicap accessibility to all parts of the lake, and I'm actually getting emails from them now that I have to justify the handicap accessibility of this plan. That's what the grant was given for.
So then if we
The
had,
federal grant.
all this big expense on the parking part, then it could have been the trail part that maybe we would have been able to. I
Yeah.
mean.
I thought about that, and I thought we were closer when I
Mhm.
first did this, and we were talking through some changes, and I signed it. That's a part of the reason I've lost some sleep this week,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna
I would
manage,
lose it for the whole
manage, and
Yeah, I just,
Yeah, I think we got off track with that way back then. The park is beautiful now. People love it. The paving it is not gonna make it. it's not gonna make it as nice as it is now.
But it will, the ADA part, I guess that's the piece, right, that we,
Well, people are able to, use it now, I think, but
Yeah, hard pack works pretty well, but, anyway,
it's too late.
it's water over the dam at this
right,
point.
right.
So is there anything like update as to, that they're starting
They're
today?
putting silt fence in today. They're removing the asphalt drive tomorrow. And then.
Away we go. Are you gonna put signs up to like, say, the park is closed? I know you said it on
Oh, there's
your
already
newsletter.
already
barriers
signs there.
and stuff
And
and.
there's
Okay,
already
I
barriers
didn't think there
there.
wasn't
Since this
anything.
morning.
Yeah, they're down there working though.
Hmm?
They
Yeah,
got
there's
the-
signs there now.
Oh, you mean now, you mean, or I
They've
saw
been
them
there
half
for
an
3
hour ago
days.
when they were putting all their
Yeah,
equipment down.
there's been signs down there 3 days. They're fairly small. Tomorrow they're gonna block the driveway so you can't drive in. Walking around the park and staying away from the construction equipment's fine. You can
If
still
the people
do
were
that.
driving in and out,
I didn't get here right to begin. How long do they expect it to take to do it?
Parking lot, they're planned to be out of there before June 1st. And then the landscapers are starting June 1st and they expect about 3 weeks,
Is that landscaping for the, parking lot area or for the,
all of it.
okay,
The landscape bid is for all landscaping. We
Oh, okay.
decided it would be best if the landscapers did the trees even around the parking lot, not the excavation people.
okay?
But the people that know what they're doing, plant.
And our deadline again is just, September,
September
I
1.
think September is when the grant needs to be closed out by. And
September 1 or September 30.
I think it's September 30 at the end of the fiscal year for the government.
And so the process is that you get your paperwork saying that something's completed? Or what, how does the process work as far as, your deadlines? You've got to have,
Once all the invoices and everything are in after the work, then we'll have to, I'm working on justifications and stuff now that they asked for.
Mhm.
We're trying to do a little bit of overlap of a boundary map and something else. Those all should be done about the same time as the park itself.
Mhm.
And
And
then
then-
it's just gonna be
is there
paperwork
some
and
time
reimbursement.
between that and and September 30th, though, that that something has to happen when you submit your conclusion, what you consider the finale of what you have to do? Is there
Yeah.
some,
The federal or the state government will just have to review it and approve it.
so does that take time?
It takes some time. I mean, they've been pretty quick working with us so far. I was worried the other day, I was reading the grant guidance and it said that they needed to approve the plans before we started construction.
Oh.
It's like, uh-oh, so I sent them in last week and told him what was going on and he turned them around in a couple days. So said, here you go. So Bill's been really nice to work with
Mhm.
down there at the department.
So you're hoping that, I guess, because we talked about, or at least the letter you sent out to everybody was that by June 30th, you expect the plantings all to be done and everything to be done. So I guess I'm wondering why you're worried about the deadline of September 30th of it.
June 30th, I thought was just the parking lot.
But we have
No.
to have the fun. the
By
rest of the
July,
funds.
it all should be done. And it's given me a couple months if they don't go over and I still have to get their invoices from them after they're done, which hopefully are timely, but
So it's the
And-
waiting on the invoices that you're concerned about.
processing everything, doing the paperwork, making sure we have all this in-kind stuff in order
And the extra money.
and extra money.
So you're
Those
saying,
money trees.
so you're
Hopefully
saying you
that
have
goes
until
on.
sometime in September to get your fundraising of this 65,000?
We need to try to get it all done
Mhm.
right now.
Mhm.
You know, when I put these out to bid in February and signed the contract a month ago or so, I didn't know how the timeframes would stack up, those types of things. I just knew if I did not get on their schedules, they may be
Mhm.
saying, hey, we're gonna do it in
Mhm.
August, and then that's,
That would be too close, yeah.
so. I was lucky, I guess we'll say we're lucky that I awarded Kurt Saltz and he said I can start next week, and I actually slowed him down a little and said, work with Cody and let's time this out a little bit better so we're not in and out of the park all summer.
Yeah.
Who's the landscaper?
See Small Properties, Cody Small, out of Heartland, Vermont.
So for fundraising, you will take care of writing letters, maybe work with
I'll
Shirley.
work with Shirley, we'll get something out soon.
You try to get that out as soon as
There's that,
possible.
Doug had a spreadsheet. Do you have that with all of the donors? And it has
She
all,
could, and
it
we
has the
might-
addresses
We
as
might
well?
do.
Yeah, good,
When
okay.
we got that flash drive from Doug, I took it and Elisa downloaded it in the city system or the town system, so we have it. Then we gave it to Shirley as well, so we can look at that. Like I said, I wanna hit a few of the big ones that I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure will help right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
And then we can
You
start.
can
looking at
ask for 'em.
Smaller ones.
You can get someone that will, do a match, then that really encourages people too, to.
I think between that and, you know, just putting a letter out of what happened, inflationary pricing, all this
Yeah.
stuff is, we just need to get over the finish line. Please help, and I think we'll give some help.
So could we see what you're thinking of sending out? And then also to maybe if there are some that we want to put a note on or something, we can do that. Yeah, that would be great.
You guys can turn around fast.
Yeah, just, I guess it's just knowing when you're gonna, are you gonna do a letter or a postcard or a letter?
I think for the bigger ones, I'll do
Yeah,
a
a
letter.
letter,
Get it
yeah.
out to them, and
Yeah.
then if we need to do a more widespread, smaller donation campaign, we'll do a postcard or something.
Do you have a good image from the park, from something that, I'm just thinking flowers, landscaping, and we've got a good picture to go with it. Sometimes that just reminds people. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Every time I go to that garden to weed or water or anything, there are people there and they come up to me and say, I just want you to know how much I love being here. And you can tell people just, because I can see the park from our house. It's 6:30 in the morning, their trucks parked, and they're parked so that the driver faces the lake. They're sitting there with their cup of coffee, and they're just having a little relaxing moment before they start the day. So there are a lot of people who really treasure
Oh, yeah.
that opportunity to sit by the lake. And so it is a wonderful thing we're doing for the community.
And it's the people that don't live there that really
Oh,
treasure it the most.
they're half of the time they're from Lebanon.
Our people that rent next door, we'll see them out there at 6 a.m, like you say, with their cup of coffee, watching the
What
sun.
better
Yeah,
view there
They
is
just
in the
appreciate
world.
it so
I don't
much.
know.
There's some pictures, on the Google, locator for Mascoma Lakeside Park. It says Lakeside Park parking. I actually tried to change it yesterday. I posted the closure thing on that just in case, but there are some photographs on there. People posted sprinkling ashes at Lakeside Park.
We don't want to promote that. I don't
They were from North Carolina.
What
They
day?
drove up here. It said,
Yeah.
it's right on Google if you look it up.
think.
We drove up from North Carolina. Couldn't have been a more perfect place to do our celebration of life. And there's a photo of the family shaking the ashes right into the
Oh my
lake.
gosh, yeah, yeah.
And
nice of
throwing
them.
daffodils.
They must have
in.
had some connection, maybe.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, so.
I know a lot of people have done it in Matt Crystal
Yeah,
and on the island. Yeah.
You know, it's great. I was thinking about that yesterday, that a lot of the people on the committee have lake property, but it's wanting to share with others.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
that's important.
yeah. Access.
It's big, and, you know, I was.
And like
thinking
I
of
say,
those
you
things
see
going
that
out to
appreciation.
talk to people, and see if we can't sell and get over our. hump.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's why it's so important to, even though we love our lakefront, I do think sometimes we take it for granted that, and we don't see it through the eyes of someone who doesn't,
mhm,
Well, that's
Have
what's been
that.
so interesting from the start of this, and Doug and Meredith. I mean, they have the lake right there.
Yeah.
And yet it became so important to all of us to be able to share that with people who don't have that
That's
ability. So.
I do have a great picture from Old Home Day, from up on the knoll, and it shows the pavilion. I'm happy to send it to you if you wanted to use that. And we do have some pretty pictures of the gardens, so I can send those to you if you want to maybe include put them on the letter or something, I don't know.
Could be a letterhead.
Yeah, it just shows, it's nice to see the picture, because there's people sitting on the knoll and then there's people hanging on the other, it's busy, you can, it's a
Yeah.
good photo, and it's of the pavilion mostly.
I was actually thinking that a picture, down the lake from the lake park, because that seems to be what people sit in their cars looking at. They
Yeah,
love that
that's a good
view
idea.
down the lake.
Yeah.
It's a good
And,
idea, yeah.
I might have some, like, well, we can also send you pretty
Some of
pictures
the
and you
pictures
can
are
decide what you think.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
We'll get with Shirley soon and we'll figure something out.
exactly.
Okay. Is there anything else, Ed, that you wanted to add, or any more
I
questions
don't think
about
so. If
the,
you guys have questions, it's.
anything more on the construction or the financial report?
I'm excited that it's happening.
Oh, yeah, that part. I mean, I've been working on this for over a decade, so I'm happy to see it come to a conclusion.
I actually, I do have, well,
Okay.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it kind of falls into that. So
Okay.
one of the things that I was gonna ask about was, I know we're gonna do a site visit out there with Cody,
Hmm.
small, but, so there's a lot of trees that are gonna be delivered to the park, and very specific places that they have to go. So I just want to make sure that we have the human power to either be there when the trees show up, or just checking, because it's a lot of trees.
Check it out, make sure we get what we paying for.
Yeah, exactly. And then also the
That
other
they go
part
in the right
was,
place.
after looking at the plan and seeing how many trees, that the placement of them is going to be so important. So really making sure that our landscaping contractor puts them, spaces them correctly, that kind of thing is just, so ideally, maybe if we could have, just kind of not work with him, but be there for that, that would be great. Like, so just knowing.
Notification of when they were coming.
Yeah,
would
just
be
to keep
helpful.
track, because it is a lot of different trees, and,
You're absolutely right, Patty.
Yeah.
I've been onto, things happen fast.
fast.
And, but sometimes there are just unexpected things, like,
Mhm.
just to come up, like, it's not the right tree, so what do you want us to do?
Right.
Or, we've just come upon this big piece of ledge, and
Right.
we can't put it there. Where do you want us to put it?
No,
We've got
that's
this tree.
very possible.
I mean, they're just, things come up.
Yeah.
And so if one of us is there, we can say, well, we had talked about it in this other spot anyway, if you want to move it 10 feet to the right, that isn't going to matter, or whatever. But it'd be nice if one of us was there who's been part of the discussion around the landscaping and knows kind of our considerations and concerns. I think that's a great idea. And I'm happy if I'm around.
Yeah, likewise.
Stretches of the summer, I'm
Yeah.
not around,
Yeah.
but.
I am here, once we get back from, I'm here. Once we get back from the,
Well, we can stay in contact.
okay.
Like I said, he's
Yeah, let
starting
people
June
know.
1st.
Right.
And when we meet with him at the end of this
Yeah.
month, he'll know.
If you
know,
could
is
do
he
the
planting
first 2
trees
weeks,
first?
I
Is
could
he-
do the second 2.
How deep do you have to go to plant a tree now?
Oh, well, it
It
depends on
depends,
the
some,
tree.
we're
Twice the
hoping
size
it's
of the
small,
ball, right?
Yeah.
but if they're as big as they were saying, it could be 3.5 feet.
But they're this way, not that way, Paul.
It depends on the ball.
You want to
Yeah.
be twice the size of the ball.
And the root systems aren't always exactly the same either, so there's a lot of technical,
Yeah.
moving parts, so I don't know how much experience Cody has with this is a lot of trees, this is a
Yeah.
big, and maybe he's gonna have them delivered in phases, I imagine, right? I don't
Well,
know,
see, I don't know where they're coming from.
so that'll be helpful for us to talk.
Most of them
to
are
him.
coming from Northern Nursery.
Oh, okay,
Oh, good.
yeah,
Actually,
It could be.
everything's coming from
Are
there
they doing
except
the-
for the larches. that
Are
I'm
they
gonna
doing the-
cancel.
Are they doing the planting?
No, I don't know what Cody has
what do
worked
you mean by
out.
the planting?
Does Northern
Putting the
Nurseries
trees
do
in the
the
ground.
planting of the trees?
No.
Okay,
No, they supply them
deliver?
to Cody,
Okay,
and then he'll guarantee them, right? Is there a
Northern
guarantee?
Nursery guarantees them for a year and he guarantees the workmanship.
Okay,
See, that's where the Christmas,
who
Yeah,
who waters them for the year?
He'll be watering them for a while. I don't know exactly how long, but for quite a while. And then there's a watering schedule that he's gonna provide.
yeah.
yeah, 'cause they
When
need
I
a lot.
Talk to.
This is not the best time to plant them.
Well, I think he'll be water bagging them and taking care of that.
I
through
hope
the
so.
summer.
Water bags would be really smart.
No,
Yeah,
he said that
yeah,
that's what he was
good.
gonna be using.
Cause boy, you had. to
That's a lot of
salt 'em.
water bags.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what I said, we'll see how it goes, but having been through this process with other parking lots in other places, it's, especially if they're bigger trees,
Yeah.
keeping them watered
Yeah.
is a huge issue to their survival.
So Sam from Cody Small Properties, she had, when I talked to her on the phone, that maintenance schedule was something that was obviously on her mind and just trying to make sure that, yes, that we're all, it's communicated what they need. And then we can try to help and supplement with volunteers to water over the summer. But I think. if
There
we
is
could do the
water there,
bags-
right?
There's a pump with water,
Oh,
yeah.
'cause I
But
tell
it's
you,
tricky,
boy,
and so.
we had 2 trees put in and it kept us busy watering.
Last
So, and I
week-
can have staff help.
So a
Yeah,
lot of
and the red
watering.
maple that they put in for Arbor Day last year at the park, we put a bag on that, a
But
water
it was
bag.
empty most of the time.
But it helped, I think having it helped, like,
Yeah.
and I actually, Sally Sharp kept that pretty full. She tried to keep that full, but I think, anyway, those bags can be really helpful. Hopefully he can supply them because they're not
Yeah.
cheap.
Mm.
So that would be a great help.
They're gonna supply them.
Yeah, so, right, just again, like just the map of where everything goes, there's just so many things, so just making sure that they're spaced properly, and, I mean, he is the expert, right, so he should know this, but, yeah, okay. And then the other thing I wasn't sure, so when I look at the site plan, there's a couple of trees that appear right in the middle of the path. And so I'm wondering, is that on his bid, it says removal of trees? Is that what he's removing?
We'll have to talk to him.
Okay, so when we do the site visit, we'll see, because there are a couple of trees right in the,
Which piece of the plan are you looking? Are you
So
looking
when
at the
is this
same one?
site visit?
yeah,
Are you
so,
looking at this one? You're looking at a different one.
yeah, so the existing trees show as like a tree. Anything new shows like with a dot in the middle or a plus sign sometimes they use, but like these are new. These are existing. This is
But
the one
he's
I'm
gonna
talking
point-
about. Right here. Like,
Now we
okay,
move the path down.
yeah, what's gonna happen with that tree? So that's,
It would be nice to keep it, and I thought we worked to make the path not.
well, I don't know, because remember, again, they did the wetland survey
Oh,
to see,
okay.
so
All right.
it may,
They had to move some things, and I think the path's actually gonna be a little wider than the mode strip, because it has to meet ADA compliance.
right.
Is that 6 feet or what? Do you know?
I think
It's
it's,
5 or 6, I don't remember.
I
what the-
thought it was 6,
5 should be a minimum.
and then 6 is like,
They'd be smart if they plan for 6.
yeah, that's what they're doing at Vision. It's a 6-foot paths for the wheelchairs, and it's like really nice space. So, yeah. Okay, so there'll be lots of questions probably, at the site visit, and, yeah. And then, yeah, that was my only question really, and then just hoping, like I said, that we could coordinate the receiving of all of that.
Do you know when the site visit is happening?
So I think May 21st or May 20th, is it
Yeah.
21st at 8 AM?
And we can be there and ask questions, but we need to make sure not to overwhelm them or
Right.
push them, and,
Yeah,
I mean, it's really to just talk through a few things, so.
What is it, May 20th?
20th is a Monday.
And if more than a couple people are showing up, we have to warn it as a meeting,
okay.
so.
That, is it
I don't
20
think
or
I have
20
the
or 20
capacity for walking on the.
I'll have to look at my phone. I think it's the 21st.
I was gonna say, if the landscaping subcommittee could come, that would be
Yeah, these two.
probably
Yes.
perfect.
I'm walking, but I'm not walking on uneven ground.
Yeah,
We'll do that, we'll cut the path back a little bit, like I said, there's places in there for the garden shed to be gravelled and stuff, we'll pull back up. It'll save a little, not a lot. The big money's gonna be saved on the parking lot side, and there's only so much we can save on that side, so.
Okay, So landscaping committee, are
Yeah.
you ready?
So there's no, I mean,
Well, the donor recognition
yes,
plaques
thank
we
you.
talked about.
we just, yes, and also
Before you move
too,
on, what's the date for this site visit?
yes, I'm gonna look
Is it
at
a Monday or
I'll,
Tuesday?
I have it, Penny, I'll send it to you, so I wanna make sure we know where the Mirsky, Grove is going, because then also that is, we have the money that they've raised for that, that's been donated for that.
That's in here.
It is, okay.
That's all the money.
Oh,
So,
it's mixed in
What is it,
there.
58?
because,
All of it's mixed together, and we said that when the Mirsky thing started out, that we're not gonna segregate this for this for that.
No, but when it comes to actually purchasing things for it, we want to make sure that we use
Yeah.
that portion that they've
So-
donated for that.
and then, and which grove are we gonna, which, because there's a few places that it could be. Yeah, and we kind of decided like the red maples would be good for that.
Where are the red maples?
So there's,
Yeah.
yeah, let's see, this one is, I have a bigger one.
But you were talking about putting a plaque on a rock.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what they're, I don't know what exactly they're envisioning. And by they, I mean Meredith, because really she's been working with the family on
Family,
this.
right.
And-
Like what they want to say on
Right.
it depends on the size of the plaque.
We were thinking like a boulder with a plaque that matches the plaques that we're already using on the benches for consistency and then placing that boulder in or around that grove.
A very
wherever
visible
the
spot,
grove
yeah.
is, yeah. So, I mean, these, these are red maples here, so they could be these three. And I think that's kind of what we had talked about before, but then there's also some up here, closer to the rail trail. So, I think that would be kind of nice to keep it as close to the pavilion as possible, just because.
I think so too.
Yeah, so,
So maybe putting the rock would be like in here.
yeah, they could set the rock somewhere right in there.
Okay, so
So
as
do
long
we
as you got the trees.
to do a motion or something, just to kind of, or not?
You could.
Just,
The other thing we could do when you guys get out there is look at that space, and if you wanted to move a tree or two down there, if there was space, then it
Okay.
would look a little more like a grove and.
yeah, well, these, I mean, I think that would be a nice grove. And then there's also birches. There's some groves of birches too, but I think
He's a
Paul
red
loved
maple
the
guy.
red maple, so yeah, and these are together.
Okay.
So,
Why don't I make a motion that we let you and Penny decide exactly where you want the Mirsky
which
memorials,
trees?
which trees,
Okay,
and the rock and the plaque will come later, but
And I assume it would be placed such that it would be nicely visible from the trail,
Yeah.
and that's probably easiest to see once the trail
yeah,
is in place.
exactly, yeah.
and we can ask Meredith to ask the family exactly what they think they would like on the plaque.
Okay,
And so the plaques that are on the benches and came from custom signs. They're I think I put it in here for you.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
brass serifont,
okay.
square corners, etched UV coating. So you can match that. The company was very nice to deal with. And somehow being something that you can mount on stone.
Yeah.
So I imagine you need a special drill or something, but.
And other than that, we're not, I think, just because there's so much going on, we kind of hold back on any work days or anything right now at the park. Say,
Kind of hard to get in there.
So,
yeah, it'll be hard to get in there, exactly. Just sort of see how things move next month, maybe check back in and see if we wanna.
Yeah, figure out how much that plaque is, if you
Okay,
can,
yeah,
what they wanna,
it will depend on the size.
Yeah.
You know,
let's figure it out and get that. We may be able to mount it here,
okay,
which will help save a little money.
Okay.
you have some big rocks too, right?
I'm sure we have some big rocks.
They
that we
definitely
have.
are.
Yeah, and you wanna,
We have.
probably wanna pick out the rock first
the rock, right,
and plan the size.
Yeah,
yeah.
figure out what they want on it. That'll
Okay,
give us an
Yeah, they
idea. of
can't
what
have,
size
they can't
we
have,
need.
you know, more than a few lines.
So maybe, I can check with this company first to ask them kind of what their,
I can tell you they can get quite expensive if you get bigger. So
Yeah,
you want to keep it
yeah,
as small as you can.
yeah, yeah.
But
All right.
that's
So
reasonable.
I should email Meredith then and ask her what they would like put on the plaque, what the family would like on the plaque. Does
Yes,
that make sense?
yeah,
Okay,
and then within reason, you know,
yeah.
and we can
Um,
price out the size of the plaque.
So
based
maybe
on that.
I can contact the company and just ask them what the sizes are. So the bench sizes are 3x10.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we have now on the bench,
Okay.
but
All right. It'd probably be a little bit bigger
I would
than that.
imagine it's bigger.
Yeah,
But you also want to see if the rock has got a
A flat,
Right.
flat spot.
flat face.
Well, the other thing you can do is
the rock.
figure out the sign and then find a rock that fits.
Okay,
Too.
yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of them in town, even if we don't have them in the yard. There's a lot of rocks.
Be going around
I'm
measuring
sure I can find you one.
They're plentiful.
I might have a piece of granite at Whitney Hall.
Well, actually, yeah, and that's an option would be just a piece of granite, because we have all kinds of granite, not quarries, but, you know,
Mm.
people who
Yeah.
sell granite chunks,
Yeah,
and some of those are squarer.
I'm sure Sarah would be helpful on that too, his daughter.
Actually, we have a granite company,
check
which
her
might or
out.
may not be helpful.
We have
Yes.
people and places,
Yeah.
big stones laying at Whitney Hall right now that are granite.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
That's true, but they may be being used, aren't they? No? Oh, well, there you go.
Some of them might go in the garbage.
Oh, no,
Not as-
no, don't do that.
Take it out later.
I'm coming over tomorrow.
There's just pieces and parts and things, and I'm just saying, if you can figure out the size.
Yeah,
We can probably find a
Alright.
stone somewhere in town that would
Okay.
fit that.
I would think it would not be bigger than 8x10.
right,
I
right,
mean,
right.
that would probably be the maximum
Yeah, yeah.
size.
And it might actually look more prominent if it's not on a really big rock. If it takes up a larger spot of that rock,
Right,
it
yeah.
almost looks more like, wow, I need to go look at that.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
we'll find something that looks good.
Okay.
And then we have hammer drills and stuff, I'm sure that will mount that.
And I can't think of anything else really right now.
you
Okay.
want a second on that motion you made?
That's right. I did make a motion, didn't I?
Yes.
So I made a motion saying we would let Penny and Patty make the decision of which grove of trees to use
I'll
and eventually the placement of the rock.
second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
It's nice, it's a grove. That's where they chose to have his reception, memorial. The reception was in a grove
Mhm.
at the house over in Belmont. It's really nice.
Park dedication date. I think, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Does anybody know when the Shaker Museum does their October festival? Is there a date for that?
Oh, no, not for the festival. No, the Harvest Festival is in September. We do sometime, we haven't talked about a cider festival yet,
So if we
but I
did-
can get that information.
We could do the first weekend in October. That sound too late?
Yeah.
Like October.
If we did
5th,
the-
6th?
It's a nice, if we did the cider thing, it will probably be the second weekend, probably.
Do you-
In
how do you
October
deal
or
with Columbus
September?
Day? How do you deal with Columbus? Day?
We've had it on Columbus Day
Okay.
before, that
Okay.
weekend. A lot of
Okay.
people around.
Yeah.
That's usually second.
Yeah.
Good weekend for that.
Yes. I mean, the first year we had 100, the next year I think it was 600, and the next year for it, and then it was over 1,000.
yeah, that was Saturday.
You
COVID
got
came.
anything there?
Not that I know.
We haven't
of.
done the full thing since.
So the other thing we should probably get some ideas and pricing on is the donor board.
Yeah,
Okay, so I had this little vision of a donor board that just said, we appreciate all the donations, large and small, and we have spent every single penny on this park. Thank you. We start listing.
We're gonna get one that we have to place, and it sounds like it'll be given to us, but it's from the Land and Water Conservation grant, and we have to prominently display their sign.
What is that? Probably like a little metal colored sign kind of
I
thing?
don't know what it looks like. It
Tell
just
me,
said.
wanted to match the everything else in the park.
Can-
Did
can
we
it
say
go
there'd
on-
be a
can it
donor
go
board?
on our wood thing?
We'll find a place to put it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it looks like, so I don't wanna say this is where we're
How
gonna
big
put
it
it.
is.
I guess I get concerned with just getting all these different signs and I
Right.
just assume they'd
Yes.
be on the sign board
Yes.
somewhere.
Sign
So
like,
signage and unified signage is so important. What about, I was trying to find the kiosk on here. I was having a really hard time.
I don't know that it's on.
Is it
there,
not
but
on there?
Well,
Because the back of the kiosk has that nice closable area with it.
Lockable.
And what about if we did some kind of a sign on that? I mean, it would be flat, it wouldn't be like embossed or engraved or anything, but it could certainly look nice. And then we could list people on that. We could actually list the donors.
now it was gonna be over a certain amount, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we had talked about, well, we were trying to figure that out. There were kind of
Right.
levels,
Yeah.
There are just so many donors.
right, so.
Well, that's why you have to go to a certain, like,
but we can
Yeah.
pull that. If that's
Yeah.
what we wanna do, we can pull the donor list and look at it
Start
and go,
there.
yeah.
there's
It's
a good
probably-
spot to stop where
Yeah.
we're actually naming people, and then we can have
I feel
something.
bad. I don't know. Personally, I feel bad because our park is like, people that can give $25, give $25. And to them, that's a huge donation.
Mhm.
To somebody who's got tons of money and they gave 20,000. I just,
See, we
I
should
worry
have,
about leaving people out.
Yeah.
And maybe I just worry.
Well, I'm
too
kind of in
much.
agreement with you. I'd rather just say, we want to appreciate, show appreciation for all the people who've made donations and contributions to make this Lakeside Park, possible. Because again, it's the issue of, that everybody's contributed and it's a public park available to everybody. I guess, I don't know, it seems more inclusive.
If
But-
we,
But I think, I know Meredith and Doug really wanted acknowledgement of specific people. So-
Definitely
did
Paul
we,
Mercy and he will have the grove.
did we ever say that there was gonna be a donor board?
I was gonna say, we probably should look at our past letters. to
Yeah.
see
I
if
don't
we were-
believe
I don't
that we ever
To
did.
see, with the library, we said 5,000 more will be listed on the donor board, so
Right.
people know that at the outset.
I do not think we ever did, but
I don't think you did either, but we
I
can
don't
look at a few
remember.
of the ones that,
Yeah.
hey, at least have copies of that went out. They might be on that flash drive, so.
Yeah.
but you can also look at the donors and see if you think there's a fair way to do it, but I just,
It would certainly take up less space to just have the
I would just,
statement.
yeah, to me, it's just like, thank you, everybody, but Burmersky is certainly a bigger contribution and he will have the grove
Yeah.
and the grants, if they need a plaque, they'll get a
Yeah.
plaque.
I was gonna say, let's look at that and, cause
Yeah.
it may just be also that there's 2 or 3 really huge donors that even though they have a lot of money, you might wanna thank them all with special thanks to these few organizations that gave.
Well, I sort of feel that way about Meredith and Doug, that in a way, I think they made a huge
Oh
contribution.
my God, they give their blood, sweat and tears.
So, I don't know exactly how you word it to say, to indicate, a special thanks, maybe just saying, and a special thanks
Yeah.
to Doug and Meredith for their spearheading. I don't know whether that, and I came in late in the thing, so maybe you should be up there too. I don't know.
The last thing I want is my name on anything. Thank you very much.
But
I
just say, I came in late, so I don't know, but I
Yeah,
do think.
no, I don't
We
know,
can look at
have
that.
they ever been acknowledged for any of their contribution?
I was gonna say, maybe another rock type thing more prominently displayed, like
Mm.
as you're entering the park.
That's when, at the entrance, yeah.
For what particularly?
For Meredith and Doug, because this was pretty much their brainchild.
Mm.
Or just as you're saying, thanks in general, you can say, and special thanks to the leadership and, contributions of by Doug and Meredith. I don't know. We can all think about it, I guess.
Yeah, so what's the action plan then on this? Because
It's to look at the donor list and see how many actual donors are at
What we're
different
talking
levels.
about. Yeah.
And, so is that something that you can do? Look at the donor list? Do you have it, the list?
I think so. I would assume it's, you have. Is that-
Yeah.
So try to figure out what the
Yeah.
breakdown is, you know,
Mhm.
like how many over, I don't even
I
know.
really
how
can't
many.
do, if you look at it.
10,000,
It's like
20,000.
Doug at one time said something about 500 or more, but, I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think he actually put that in writing on letters.
No,
but
I think it was just a conversation.
To us, yeah,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of people.
But we
I
should,
think.
yeah, we should look at, the letters. To,
But I also think that a lot of people don't expect to get their name recognition kind of thing,
Right.
or care. And so it, you know, I think Doug and Meredith actually kind of cared. So,
I'm gonna think about that.
I think we should do something.
Well, absolutely, and I would, at this park dedication is a perfect time to acknowledge
Yeah.
them.
Unveil it.
Can we set a date for that? October 5th is a Saturday. If that's too late,
When do they do an Old Home Days?
Home Days is the last full weekend in July.
Okay.
Yep, because we did move it back.
Yeah.
to Summer. But that time in end of September, or October is a beautiful time.
Yeah, can be really pretty. What do you think? Should we commit to a date?
I think if we don't commit to a
I
date,
think
it's
we
not
commit
gonna
to a
happen.
date
Yeah,
sooner, and then if it's,
If it doesn't
Then
work.
we'll
Getting close
make
to
sure that we
town.
don't have any conflicts with something major happening in town.
are we thinking Saturday? A Saturday, like the 5th?
Yeah.
Saturday, the 5th sounds good.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
think so
And
too.
are we talking about a morning time or an afternoon time?
Well, warmer, mid-afternoon, I would say. Okay. Because it could be cool.
Like around 2 PM or something.
Sounds good.
perfect.
And yeah, okay. And so then also like a guest list for the dedication, right? Because this is a good opportunity to get some nice PR
I
and
think we just all start thinking about
Yeah.
that, maybe jot them down and
Yeah.
then we can collaborate
Yeah.
that list.
Yeah, maybe everybody make a little mental list, write it down, bring it to our next meeting,
okay.
and we'll see.
You know,
We also
just
need somebody
everybody?
that will be like the MC, and that's not me.
We might be able to do you guys? Do you do Google or Microsoft?
Yeah, I
Which
love
one do you
Teams.
prepare? Would you like Teams or?
Oh my God. I do like Teams. I use Teams the most. And then Google Documents I find super easy to just kind of pass documents.
I was gonna
around.
say,
Yeah,
I
share.
could create a Google shared document.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And everybody can just start putting names in it.
That's
and it'll
perfect.
Populate instead of trying to pass stuff back and
Yeah.
forth.
You would probably get a lot of those off of the donor list too.
yeah, well, certainly, and all the donors should be invited.
Well, I was thinking also just the, Mascoma Lake Association
Mhm,
people
mhm.
would be a list. I don't know whether you want more people. if you want
No, like
limited
those are the
people.
those are the things that we want to put on a guest list, like exactly that, like the lake people. I don't know.
Anybody that's donated.
Yeah,
Probably.
anyone who's donated and yeah,
And then we have to have some money.
so we can have
Spend.
so we can have some nibbles at the, of course, I think of food, but, yeah, right, money to spend
We
on
could
the
probably get some
dedication.
of that donated.
Toby can make one.
I guess, right. So tentatively then October 5th,
Yeah.
2 PM, and then Ed will send a Google share document so that we can add
Yep,
names of people we feel would, yeah.
and
we should invite.
maybe a section of it for ideas of how to celebrate, you know?
Anybody know a good band?
That's an excellent
Dave
idea.
Beaufait is in a band.
Oh, that's right, he is.
We can volunteer him, he's not here.
I think that's a great
But
idea.
that would actually be really nice, like to have a little music or
A
something.
little music,
Yes,
somebody
yeah.
that's comfortable with a microphone. As I said, it's not me, somebody to make an announcement and,
We can put a little
So-
program together.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that would be the way to do it, is have a few different speakers from.
Good.
So what's the fate of the kiosk? Is that gonna stay there until we're really done, or it was gonna move it up on the trail somewhere?
We can talk
Split it.
about that as
What's that?
we can talk about that as we're getting closer. I don't know that it's gonna get affected right now.
Just as long as it doesn't get trashed with
It
it's
won't.
sitting in mud at the moment, so.
It won't. If the excavators need to move it for any reason,
That's
they've
all
been really careful at Whitney
Okay.
Hall about taking it out and putting it off to the side. And they'll probably ask us where we want to put it back. If they have to
Right,
take it
we
out,
should
we can
think
probably
about
have them
that.
get it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
talked about turning it, you
Yes.
know, 100.
What's the post made of it?
Wood.
Wood.
Oh, then it's probably not sitting in a good place, and if it's sitting.
Well, it's
in
pressure treated, but
mud.
yeah, it's in mud.
It's in a wetlands.
It might be more in a wetland.
It's very much in the wetlands when I saw it yesterday.
It's in
I
a
think it's
wetland.
right where the storm drainage is gonna drain.
Oh,
So they can move it to someplace drier.
So,
but that is a beautiful kiosk and we could really, really like use it to our advantage, for things. So that'd be great to know like where we'll put it.
Mhm.
The porta potty, that's up by the rail trail? Is that?
it is right now because
Okay.
the parking lot's gonna be torn.
Okay.
If you look at the plans, there's actually a place for it.
Yes, yes.
And it's gonna be on concrete.
Yeah, it's, and yeah, with kind of a circular area around the back of it.
I think right now it's supposed to be set there with a boulder in front of it, but I've talked to Jim Taylor about
Okay,
getting some removable bollards to put there, so.
Okay.
so it'll be there, and where's the bike rack is
Well,
someplace
there's a
safe.
bike rack in over here. I noticed they have a bike rack kind of over here.
I know, but the one that we had here,
I haven't seen the bike rack. Wasn't there today, was it? Did you see the bike rack out there?
I wasn't looking.
Should be there somewhere.
let's hope it's still there.
It's kind of a hard thing to move.
I didn't notice it. Liberty Utilities guys can move it, no problem. Two
It's
of
not
them.
that hard to move.
It's like 200
They
pounds
moved
or
it when
so.
they were there.
It's not,
I don't know where it is. I don't remember seeing it today, yes.
I was looking at plans.
because if they want more, if we want more, we can order the same style.
And then, the benches and the picnic tables, those are kind of coming, something we'll think about later.
We'll do later and
Yeah.
I
That would be on the wish
recommend you
list.
keep doing what
If
you're
somebody wanted
doing
to.
and, you know, we need 5 benches if people would like to donate them
Okay,
for
yeah,
someone in memorial or just donate them for a reason.
Do you think in the fundraising letter that you're gonna do, that that's a place to maybe include this wish list for benches
I
or,
don't think so.
okay,
not yet.
it's separate.
Not to those big,
Yeah,
No, I get, let's get through this first.
Let's get over the
Yeah.
hurdle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
that makes sense.
because I think, again, when we see the 2 pieces completed,
Yeah,
we'll see how things fit in, because I'm thinking that the benches and the picnic tables that we have may need to be spread out differently if they put in all these trees, because that's a lot of trees they're
Yeah.
talking about. And
Yeah.
right now it's been a big open area,
Yeah.
so things are gonna,
they're
Yeah.
gonna change.
Yeah.
We'll spread them out. We can
and
wish list some of the others.
it's the shrubs actually that I'm thinking about, right? Because there's a lot of shrubs. And so, yeah,
could
just,
be different.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
I think we need to wait on other things till the dust settles.
and then I noticed like there's the Abenaki garden spot. That's just, again, another thing that we'll kind of work on later, but just those places are held there. Yeah.
Okay, we have a dedication date. Donor
So there
recognition
shouldn't
we're
be
gonna
any
think about.
cable out there where the trees are going or anything that we don't know about, or,
No, the cable's up.
because
at
I
the
know
rail
up
trail,
to,
isn't
where
it?
the sign is on the rail trail, they came up there and tested it, and that's
The
what
dig
it
site?
was. But then who knows where it,
Yeah, it should be, it's in the railway
Yeah.
corridor and we're not supposed to be doing
Yeah,
anything
not
in the
anything.
railway corridor.
What's in the railway corridor?
The AT&T line.
Oh, okay, all right. Is that pole coming out? That pole's coming out, right? It's not?
Not as of right now.
After all that, we couldn't get it down, huh?
I have a thing into Liberty and they're engineering it, but it's gonna come back at a cost.
Wow. What
It
is,
seems like it's the time to do it when
if
the,
the construction
is.
people hit it by mistake, what is that, and it falls down and we have to get it out of there?
that would
No,
be
I
helpful.
have talked to him and I might talk to the sailing club about buying some conduit, and at the very least, we can throw the conduit under there.
Oh,
That's probably a few $100
Yeah.
and
That would be, I think, very smart.
That would be very smart. I would like to see that happen.
yeah.
so at the very least, we could probably do that at least.
Plan for
concrete to
a
concrete.
Future time when it comes down.
I think if we have it prepped, that will be huge.
And I'll push Liberty, I'll push them again.
So
and I'll
that's your
tell 'em it's a
action for
safety
Ed.
issue, and maybe they'll come in and say, we'll move it at no charge if you put conduit in or something.
We could donate that,
Huh?
donate the removal
Yeah.
cost.
Have someone go push a sailboat into it.
There you
Just
go.
don't touch the boat when you do it.
Oh,
Yeah, please.
I noticed something the other day coming off the trail down to the park. There's all these trees with tape on them.
oh,
Is that some we save or we cut?
yeah. So those pink ribbons, you're talking about the pink ribbons, those are trees that we're
Yeah.
hoping to save.
What's the plant?
Well, they're just different trees, seedlings really,
okay.
that we're hoping to save.
Maples and oaks.
I don't know what we'll
primarily.
do with them, Penny. We're gonna have to kind of figure that out.
Maples and oaks.
Maples and oaks, yeah, in
Yeah.
that little grove. It's like almost like a little grove there.
We'll have a tree sale. And we'll
Yeah.
raise some
Yeah, we
money.
do have to figure out what to do with those.
Now, what do you mean? They have to come out?
Well,
Are they in the way? I mean,
they're
I,
in that grove, by the by,
Yeah.
the patent trail,
Yeah.
that little area that we
but I
went to
thought that
last
was,
year.
I thought that was left, no?
It is left, although there, for some reason, the trees aren't, if you look on the plan, I think they're assuming we're gonna pull out all of those little saplings. I don't, well, I mean, it's right in here. This is it. This is the area we're talking about, and they're just showing 3
Are they-
existing. Those are existing.
I just thought they were simplifying.
Yeah, so, but all the little stuff isn't in there. And I guess, I mean,
We can talk.
yeah, we should talk about, because it's a very visible area, and to keep it, I don't know.
But see, in my way of thinking, saplings is part of the woods.
But
Natural.
it's not a woods. It's not.
Wouldn't it be a
woods.
natural area?
Well,
Are you,
I mean, I think we should, I'm not saying get rid of them all, but I think the rest of the park is gonna be so, it's just so planned, and then all of a sudden we have this one area that's kind of a mishmash of all different stuff that's going on. I think we just need to carefully edit what's in there. And if we can put the trees somewhere else, that's great. I don't know.
I don't think you can get them out. I mean, these are natural trees, so their roots are all entangled.
The ones with the pink, we're talking about, the small ones.
But there's
there's
gonna
also-
be like this with, because they're bigger trees right next to them.
Well, let's look at it and
Yeah.
see what we think, but I think right now, when you look at that area, it just looks, I mean, the rest of the park is gonna be so planned, and then we have this one spot that I just think we need to work on it. Kind of figure out what can stay, some things probably will have to be. And there's also some of the black locusts have come back up too, so we can
Well,
keep working
the
on
black
those.
locust needs to come out.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be the
Yeah.
place I would start,
Yeah.
is get the black locust
Yeah.
out as best we can. And,
Well,
that
it sounds
may-
like a huge list of to-dos.
Yeah. So that's kind of workday stuff, right? Like volunteer workday stuff a little bit down the road, I guess. Yeah.
Down the road. Anybody have anything else? Our next meeting is June 5th. Do we want to meet at the park, or is that kind of too soon to do
I'm
that?
gonna be gone on the 5th.
Cody will
not
just be
allowed.
starting, right? Like that's
Cody will
when
be
he's
working.
just gonna be starting that the week before.
So we shouldn't do that.
No, it's exciting to think that, I mean, it might not. I
We
don't
can
know.
maybe tentatively plan that.
We
and I
have-
can
we have
talk
to
Cody,
tell.
Because it may be a good time, the parking lot will be done,
Yeah,
and it may be, I don't know where he'll be in his planning, but it may
Just
be. a
wanting
good
to
time
get
up
everybody
there.
over there to really look at the scope of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, let's plan on it and then say, you know, we get by June 1st out. Is that enough time for them to announce the change? For at least.
Yeah, we need 24 hours.
You need
Okay.
24 hours, okay?
Earlier is better, but the other thing, yeah, let's think about it and let's look at where they're at.
Yeah, I'll have to go over to the park like it's.
As I said, the other thing we
6-1
have
and
to
talk to
think
you.
about is if we announce we're gonna meet there, it's an open public meeting, how many people are gonna show up and what does the work area look like and
Oh, yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So if it's easy to meet there and we can stay out of the
If
way.
the parking lot is truly done.
Yeah, it should be done. He's planning on being out of there before Memorial Day
Okay,
and they're fast,
okay.
good and fast. So,
Wait, who's playing? Oh, the
the
parking people. Okay. I was like, wait, no, not the Memorial Day. Oh, okay,
But that's just the parking lot and
right.
the sidewalk area, that's not the trees and.
No, they don't
Is that-
start till the 1st of June, but everything else should be, so that it's trees and trail.
And I won't be here.
We'll tag team.
Yes, we will get hold of you no matter what. So if there's no further, we're gonna say adjourn. 4:50,
4:50 meeting tonight.
yep.
All right. Well, okay.